Good morning. My name is Diane Boulanger, and I am a grade 4 French immersion teacher who code with my students across the entire curriculum. I, of course, facilitate the learning of the French language in my classroom. I also believe that my French immersion students need to have all the skills needed for building our future. This includes being able to express themselves using technology and developing the skills required by future employers. I am sure you have heard of business closures, decline in oil revenues, declining economy, and cuts in several levels of governments. On the other hand, people who know how to code and understand the basis of technology will have vast opportunities for future employment. Tech companies are definitely on the rise, and this could be your next success story. Being able to code and express our understanding in several languages is a new literacy and a tool for future economic success. Have you ever wondered what our life would be like without the use of technology? Everyday objects are made from code, yet we do not teach our students how to code. Cars, airplanes, phones, phone apps, computers, medical equipment, books, media, security, communication, energy, manufacturing, and recreation are all made with code. Everyday objects are made with code, yet we do not teach our students how to code. Would you want to give all your students, the boys, the girls, the poor, the people of color, the disadvantaged, the struggling to the gifted, the opportunity to find employment, or to be the next Steve Jobs, or the next Judy Payette? Learning to code at a young age is not a new idea. Seymour Papert from MIT developed the programming language Logo in the 1960s to teach students mathematics in a fun way. He wanted to invent mathematics that students would love. Logo is still available today. You will find it in the National Library of Virtual Manipulative. Mitch Resnick, also from MIT, developed Scratch with the same idea in mind. More recently, Samantha John and Jocelyn Leavitt, two young American teachers, developed Hopscotch for the iPad to facilitate coding at an early age. Coding at a young age is an American initiative. I think students can also code in a language class. President Obama continues to support this initiative. The work opportunities for students who know how to code is tremendous. Here are the statistics. In mathematics, science, and technology area, 60% of the jobs are for computing jobs, for people who know how to code. And if we look at the number of computer science graduates, only 2% will have the necessary formation to be able to work in this area. And among those qualified, only 20% are women. Why is it so? Is it not in the curriculum? In Ontario, we teach science, arts, and French in the French immersion program, while many French immersion teachers also teach mathematics. We use tools to teach our students. So, instead of drawing with pastels, we started drawing with our brand new iPads using Hopscotch. Hopscotch allows us to draw while coding. We learn our elements of arts and French using the Hopscotch tool. After seeing the keen interest of the students, I thought perhaps we could do some of our science reports using Hopscotch too. Well, we use paper and coloring pencils to write science posters. Why not try our new tool, Hopscotch for Science too? We can write in French using Hopscotch. Some of my students type excellent French reports using Hopscotch. While working in their teams, students can discuss among themselves what they are doing in their second language. During assessment, they can conference with a teacher about their projects. If you are also teaching mathematics, many Hopscotch programs can be linked to the mathematics curriculum as well. My school, my board, my union, York University, and many others use the summer model to introduce gradually technology in our classrooms. Here's an analogy of the process. First, at the substitution level, we replace one good brand of coffee with a similar brand of coffee. At the augmentation level, Our coffee becomes better by adding milk to make it a cafe latte. At the modification level, you add chocolate and milk to make nice cafe mocha. At the redefinition level, the coffee is like something you could not imagine, something you never tasted before, like the pumpkin spice frappuccino. If we sometimes replace the paper, pencils, and pastels with hopscotch, we start going up the technology ladder and start teaching the 21st century skills our students need to learn. Hopscotch can be learned in a few minutes. Students as young as grade 3 can code simple projects with just one line of code. Hopscotch code can be very simple for beginners to quite complex for the gifted students. Students have a choice of questions and projects. In these examples, the heartbeat is quite simple to code from a picture. Draw a line and turn, draw a line and turn. That's all. Hopscotch also allows the introduction of text that explains the drawings. For example, we can see how a scientist who uses a satellite can count the polar bears from space. They take pictures 2 days apart and count the white spots that have moved and those that did not. In this way, scientists can keep track of the declining polar bear population. The other example is the sound of the universe. We think of the universe as a silent place, but dramatic events like the Big Bang, black holes, leave a sonic trace that can be seen here. We can write very simple to very complex programs that reflect all types of ideas. I modeled my classroom after Tony Wagner. You can hear him speak on the TED channel and the WISE channel from Qatar. It was introduced to me by the STAO, the Science Teachers Association of Ontario. My classroom becomes a place where students learn through play. Coding with Hopscotch is quite fun, for example. Not only can students create video games, they play their own video games when finished. Students become passionate about their learning. Questions are open-ended. Students have a choice of activities and a choice of their level of involvement. With this choice, students become quite invested and passionate because their learning becomes personal. Students know we are learning from the best sources, that they create very significant work that can be shared with the online community. Their learning becomes purposeful and students become quite creative. This model is a dramatic change from filling out worksheets to learn the passé composé. The pencil is a tool. Hopscotch is also a tool. We use those tools to learn the concepts of the curriculum. The Hopscotch environment comes free of charge on the iPad. It is a simple-to-use block language, significantly simpler than professional code like JavaScript that you see on the left-hand side. There are different types of blocks that are used to manipulate the objects that are on the screen. We can draw lines, turn, go to a location, move, wait, disappear, repeat activities, write French sentences. In the near future, Hopscotch will also have sound. Hopscotch is simple enough that grade 3 students can start code by drawing lines and make its characters move around. It is complex enough that a grade 6 student could create sophisticated video games using variables, different types of abilities, and even recursion. Students learn by exploring the code I provide them and also by looking at the code available from online networks. Hopscotch won the CAPI Award and the Parents' Choice Gold Award because of its excellence. With 3 specific lines of code, students can create a viable scientific game. Those 3 lines allow the character to move across the screen with the movement of the iPad. That forms the basis of any game. In these specific examples, we model ourselves after the United Nations competition that offered $100,000 reward for the creation of peace and sustainability games. Students learn about different habitats and the environmental issues associated with them. Afterwards, they created a game that demonstrates their learning and can teach other students the issues around their habitat. On the right, we can see a very simple game where the gorilla can travel through the screen to fetch bananas. We can also see the habitat of the gorilla is mined for coltan, which is used to make mobile phones. In the other example, we see part of a game that informed us about the disappearance of the bees due to our agricultural practices. It included information paragraphs, the dance of the bees used to communicate with other bees, and the beekeeper helping with bee communication. Both students did their work, and we discussed it in French, what they had created. The rubric used to assess a Hopscotch environmental project does not really change from the rubric of other projects. Just the tool change. Students must demonstrate their understanding of their habitat, identify the environmental impacts, and the scientific concepts around it. They need to be able to use the French and scientific vocabulary while talking about the project done with the Hopscotch tool. Our curriculum has a vision of addressing real-world problems. We need to address real issues like sustainable development, peace, feeding everyone, providing medical services to everyone, and many others. Why not train our students from an early age? Instead of playing violent video games for fun, why not train our students to be the agents of change and create their own sustainable development programs? This could help students develop a good character, even if they do not choose to become coders later on. You can, of course, choose your favorite issues from your curriculum. In these examples,